Okay, so welcome again. This time I wanted to show a little football game that I made. I'm honestly very proud of it. So let's go over the setup and your materials. In this case, I feel like these materials are like quite complicated, honestly. Oh wait, I'm using something. Oh, sorry. Okay, so like you said, this is a football game. So you're going to need 11 cards. They don't have to be like they they just have to be like regular cards. You can use playing cards or you can use Uno cards like I'm doing right here. Then you're also going to need at least one deck for each player. In this case, each of these decks contains cards from 0 through 8, every number in between, like for example 1 or 5, as well as this thingy here, this skip card. Um, so ideally you'd want to have two decks per player. One of them, in this case this one, you are going to shuffle. The other one you won't shuffle, just like keep it in order like this. So you're going to give two decks to each player. In this case, for example, this guy over here is going to be the red guy, and he's going to have, well, the red deck and the other red deck. It's the same for the blue, except with the blue deck. So you will both put the skip card at either end of the stadium. The stadium is made up of 11 face down cards. They don't have to be face down, but I think it looks better this way. So it has to be 11. Um, then at the at the end of the stadium, you're gonna put the goalpost, and your goal is to obviously, well, put the ball into the goalpost. So in a two-player game, the rules are a bit different than basically what I'm trying to say is that you can play with one player or two players, or you can even just like run like a simulation. That's mostly what I do, just like run a simulation. I don't really like to play against an AI. And well, I don't know if you might have noticed, but I don't really have friends to play this with. It honestly requires quite a bit of table space, which I'm not particularly proud of. But I mean, I guess you can fix that. I mean, yeah. Another thing, you're going to need a d6, a six-sided die. This is going to be the ball. It starts out with the one side facing up. It's very important that you keep track of your die. Like you need to start it at number one. Okay. So, you're also going to need two yellow cards. These will be dealt out to the players as they commit, well, foul outs. I actually don't know what it's called. Just outs in general. Fouls? I don't know. Okay, so you're going to begin by shuffling both decks and placing them face down. Each player is going to get their own deck. And then both players are going to draw three cards. And they're going to keep their hand. In this case, the red player has drawn five, a 7, and a 6, and the blue player will draw, oh, that's bad, a 0, a 6, and a 5. Okay, so the ball begins in the middle of the stadium. It must be 5 squares away from the red goalpost and 5 squares away from the blue goalpost. Okay, so you're going to begin by drawing three cards. Yeah, I said that already. Sorry. And then each player is going to pick one card to play. The other player cannot see your hand. So you're gonna keep it secret like this. So I don't know. Let's say the red player wants to kick the ball as far as possible because that's their goal. They're going to play a 7. The blue one also going to play the highest card. You guys should both play your cards face down, and then at the same time you're going to reveal them. And in this case, the red guy rolled a 7, and the blue player uh, play the 6. And in this case, what would happen is that since the red guy won by 1 point, remember 7 is exactly 1 point bigger than 6. The red player would kick the ball one square towards the blue goalpost. In this case, that would be right here. Not very consequential, but you know, something is something. It's better than nothing, I guess I could say. And every time the ball is kicked, it goes up by 1. So the ball starts out at 1, and in this case, it goes up to 2. Then gameplay like this continues. If the deck ever runs out, you should still have a 3 card hand. And so, like, okay, whenever the decks run out, nothing happens per se, but like you won't draw any new cards. You're just left with 3 cards, and then you play another, and you're left with 2, and then with 1, and then with 0, until you run out of cards in your hand and cards in your deck. In which case you do shuffle your deck. That is, both players should run out of cards at the same time because there's like no reason to play more than 1 card. And well, play like this could go on for quite some time, but it's very unlikely that a game will go on forever. Okay, so whenever the ball enters the goalpost, it counts as a goal for the opposing team, and that's what these things are for. You're going to keep track. I just thought it was very neat to have a special deck to keep track of score. Once you goal, you move your little counter thing 1 move up, which in this case would mean that the red guy has now has 1 goal to the blues 0. And in that case, well, the red guy is obviously closer to winning. Then what happens next is that the blue guy, since he just got gold, he's gonna do a kickoff, and he's going to uh, look at the bottom card of his deck. In this case, it's a 5. So he's gonna flip his deck over again. He has to show his opponent just because, like, well, you know. Uh, so then he's gonna kick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares into the red goalpost. Often enough, this will probably not score a goal because like the stadium is too big for that to happen. Also, a 0 counts as a 0, and if you roll a 0 for your kickoff, then you look at the next bottom card. Oh, 7 is actually pretty good. Okay, and so this goes on. Kicking off like this does not actually move the ball forward at all. What else? Oh yeah. So like the ball goes on, and if ever it reaches 6, let's say the ball's at 5, right? And then I don't know. Say the blue player plays a 3, and the red player plays a 7, like this. See, the 7, the red player in this case, since he kicks the ball 1, 2, 3, 4, and it lands on a 6. Um, well, the ball lands on a 6. He's going to actually get a yellow card, and a yellow card does not mean much by itself, but once a team, or I guess in this case a player, scores 2 yellow cards, then he like returns both yellow cards, and then he loses one of his goals. One of his goals is nullified. So that can be pretty brutal under the right conditions, or I guess the wrong conditions. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much about everything in this nice little game. Of course, first 3 wins, although you could also negotiate, like, let's keep it going. Before the game starts, you could also, like, choose a different number, like, I don't know, first to 5 wins or first to 8 wins. Maybe that would make more use of this tracking deck. Also, you do not necessarily have to use this thing. Like, I feel like maybe that's a little bit too complicated. And if you don't have it, that's fine. You just need like another way to keep track of score. Maybe you can use paper. Maybe you can use other dice. A d6 would suffice because like you have One, two, three. And yeah, I mean, if you don't have enough cards for this, you could just make the stadium smaller, but I don't really like that. Also, there is I have yellow and a green deck just in case somebody wants to play as the green or the yellow player, but you don't really need that. You just need two of these. So I mean, all you really need is one Uno deck rather than two, is what I'm trying to say. Well, I think that's gonna be it. I might post some more videos talking about some like the one player mode and the zero player mode, but for now that's all. So goodbye.